So without a doubt, Caitlin Clark stepping into the WNBA's limelight has been a major factor in revitalizing it. So much so that there's actually been a term called the Caitlin Clark effect. And the proof is in the pudding, as in 2024, the WNBA draft brought in 2.4 million viewers, which shattered the previous record of 600,000 back in 2004. And according to StubHub, before the season even started, ticket sales were up 93% in 2024 compared to 2023. And the Indiana Fever saw a 1,300% increase in ticket sales compared to the previous season, before Caitlin even played a game. Also, the WNBA merchandise sales for the 2024 season were up a massive 601% compared to 2023. And Clark is credited for 26.5% of the league's financial earnings last season. That includes merchandise sales, television, and attendance. Which I believe, considering the fact that the Fever became the first WNBA team to host more than 300,000 fans in a single season, averaging more than 17,000 per game. And games Clark played drew 1.2 million viewers on average, which was almost 200% more than the games in which she didn't play. And not only is she known for being a rock star on the court, but also off the court, whether that be press conferences or interacting with fans. And she'd been able to do all that while being bullied by players within the WNBA, because they were upset that you had a white girl that's revitalizing a primarily black sport. But unfortunately, when you're facing that sort of scrutiny from the extreme wokey pokies, there is pressure to cave in, which unfortunately it appears she has done, as she was recently named by Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year, in which one thing she said was, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege, that the league has kind of been built on black players. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing." Which, before I address that isn't the first left-leaning thing she said. As back when Taylor Swift posted that I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election, citing LGBTQ rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades, signing off as Taylor Swift Childless Cat Lady, then posting a picture to Instagram with her cat, Caitlin Clark had liked that post, saying, "I have an amazing platform, so I think the biggest thing would be to just encourage people to register to vote." Continuing to say, "That's the biggest thing I can do with the platform that I have, and that's the same thing that Taylor Swift did." Ending with, "Continue to educate yourself on the candidates that we have, the policies that they're supporting." Which doesn't really answer the question, it's more so of a diplomatic response, which at the end of the day, I really don't care about that. But more importantly, let's get back to her comments at the Time Magazine article, because it's kind of sad to see her groveling and laying an offering at the feet of the people that are bullying her to score some brownie points. And it pissed off a lot of people, one of them being Megyn Kelly.
So Caitlin Clark of Iowa, but now playing for Indiana in the WNBA, gets honored in Time as the Athlete of the Year. And what does Caitlin Clark do? Like, this woman who's a superstar, she's the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. And she's become a phenom in part because the players of the WNBA can't stand her. Why? Mm-hmm. Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total racism. And one of the things that's been admirable about Caitlin is she just continues to play her game and put points on the board. And she does very well, and she wins games, and she puts butts in the seats, and she sells tickets, and she gets people tuning in on television. And all really we want to hear from anybody about this is thank you. Thank you to Caitlin Clark for making our league relevant and so on. But instead, she's been bullied repeatedly by the players in this league. She's been assaulted physically. She's been scratched in the eye. And I mean, all of this is on camera. We've covered it repeatedly on the show. So she gets this honor. And all she has to do is continue staying above it. Thank you. I'm grateful. Love being in the WNBA, and I love my colleagues who I play with, my teammates. That's it. Instead, she decides to go racial. And what she says is she feels the need to acknowledge her white privilege. Basically, she's sorry she's white. She feels really bad about it, though, so you should give her a pass. And then she makes a point of saying, the ones we really need to be celebrating are the black women on whose backs this league was built, which I have to tell you is so condescending. It's true that most of these black women have been bullying her and want her to understand it's their league. Hello, you don't own the league. Blacks don't own the league, just like whites don't own tennis or golf.
Now, one thing Megyn says later in this is that you don't hear people like Serena Williams saying that tennis was built on the backs of white people. Why? Because we don't need to hear them say that. All we expect from these star athletes is that they stay grateful for the talent that they've been given and the opportunities they've had to be recognized.
This is America. Anybody can play if they're good enough. But they want her on the knee. You'll bend the knee and you'll apologize for being white, and you will suck up to the black women who built this league before you, or you will be beaten. You will be assaulted and you will be bullied with no friends. So she does it. She finally did it. She bent the knee, self-flagellated over white privilege. And look at the black women in this league. And I have to tell you, if I were a black woman in that league, I think I'd say, screw you. Because don't treat me like I am the ugly stepsister and you are Cinderella, and no prince is going to look at me unless Cinderella says, oh, give her a little time. Oh, put her in the spotlight for a moment. I would be offended, genuinely offended.
I mean, she has a good point, and it's valid, because how low do you think of yourself that you'll only get recognized if Caitlin Clark is in front of you? Food for thought.
And here's the other thing. It's totally insincere. And here's how you know it's totally insincere. Because if Caitlin Clark really felt uncomfortable in the spotlight, because white people didn't build the league, she wouldn't have said yes to being Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. So either walk the walk or don't. But what you're doing here is trying to have it both ways. You're too cute by half, and you've managed to piss off your fan base. Go ahead and look at my Twitter feed and the comments under my tweet on this. She's lost thousands of fans, maybe more, as a result of this. And you will never appease the race bullies in the WNBA, ever. Because you're too popular, you're too talented, and too white. That's it.
And boy, did people turn on her. As the replies on X include Ed saying, she has lost a huge part of her fan base. I never watched the WNBA. Saw her in a few YouTube videos and was really amazed and started following her. Nope, not anymore. She is casualty of the woke wars. Bye-bye, Caitlin. Or this post, raise your hand if you're done supporting Caitlin Clark. Paul here saying, WNBA star Caitlin Clark says she has white privilege. What a disgrace. There goes the only reason I barely ever thought about the WNBA. And then Pro America Politics commenting, Caitlin Clark had a chance to become the female version of Michael Jordan. She could have transcended the sport. Now she's just Megan Rapinoe without the pink hair, which I haven't heard that name in a while, and I wouldn't complain if I never did again. But I do think that's a little extreme, because Megan Rapinoe was far more insufferable. But anyways, this is how she responded.
And even earlier today, Megyn Kelly, she was saying that you were apologizing for your white privilege and the fact that you wanted to uplift black female athletes and make sure that they were getting the shine, kind of like your pioneers were getting the shine that they deserved. And I just want to know how you feel or how you respond to some of those criticisms when you have to deal with something that it's really not your problem. Like, I feel like it's them looking in a mirror a little bit, but it still comes down on your shoulders.
I feel like I always have had really good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life, whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career. But also, I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of. And like I said, like, I try to just be real and authentic and, share my truth. And I think that's very easy for me. Like, I'm very comfortable in my own skin. And that's kind of been how it is my entire life.
Yes.
Now, one of the replies to that was by Maze. Anyone who uses terms like share my truth or speak truth to power should not be taken seriously. In which Colin Rugg here said, I'd like to share my truth and say that yes, you are right. Which, to that point, there was just something that didn't seem completely sincere about what she's saying. Because, for example, she said that she's comfortable in her own skin, but I feel like if she was, she would say it fully with her chest that she's earned what she has. Now, I don't know what's in her heart or in her mind, but I do want to give her a level of grace, because a big part of me feels like she was pressured into doing so. And Rob Smith here shared that sentiment, saying, don't criticize Caitlin Clark. Her white privilege comments are self-preservation in a hostile workplace.
This is what you guys are not getting about this Caitlin Clark situation. Now, I know a lot of people on the right are criticizing Caitlin Clark because, she apologized for her white privilege, et cetera, et cetera. What you don't realize is that Caitlin Clark has to go onto the court every single day when she's in season with a bunch of large, angry black lesbians.
Large, angry black lesbians. I love how bluntly he puts it.
Are super jealous of her and want to physically hurt her. All right. So that is what she has to deal with. A lot of white people will never understand what it is like to be like the only one in that situation. But Caitlin Clark is in a workplace where most people are black. She has to deal with that. So the comments about Caitlin Clark talking about her white privilege, and the comments about her elevating black women that built the league, etc., that is an act of self-preservation, and people are not getting this. That woman has to say these things. I don't know what she thinks or what she truly believes. It really doesn't matter, because she has to be on the court every single day with a bunch of large, angry black lesbians that are jealous of her money, jealous of her success, jealous of her platform, probably jealous of her looks, jealous of everything. Like, she has to deal with that. So I'm not going to criticize her for acting in self-preservation and doing what she needs to do to keep her career together.
Now, for those of you who don't know who Rob Smith is, on top of being African American, he's gay, veteran, and Republican. And that's one of the most nuanced takes you can have, because yeah, I don't like that Caitlin Clark bent the knee, but at the same time, I can't fully fault her if she just did it because she doesn't want to be bullied anymore. At the same time, though, if it were me, I would advise against that, because no matter how much she grovels, they will never fully accept her, and unfortunately, that's just how hateful people like Kennedy Carter and Angel Reese are. And at the end of the day, she's the one getting recognized by Time magazine, and not those crybabies. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned a subscription. Here's some videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.